in the whip and I hit these switches. See that chrome suspension? Look at the car, you know who did it. I don't have to mention. They know it's Alex from Hot Boys.
Alright guys, so we are out here in Bishop, California right now. We were actually broken down. And we were out here at the AutoZone grabbing a whole bunch of stuff right now. We ran into, bam, a lowrider in Bishop. We're out here to go fishing and relax, and he lives out here. Let's check it out real quick. What's up and good afternoon guys, how are you? Alex here from Hot Boys with another video for you guys. And like you guys just saw right now, we were out 4th of July weekend having a good time, and we happened to run into we happened to run into the only lowrider in the city of Bishop or Lone Pine or Big Pine or Independence. We were just happened to be at the store and he came cruising through, and that's what that clip was right there. Pretty cool to meet him. Thank you for stopping by and recognizing us. We were in the truck, didn't have no logo shirts or nothing on like that, but big old sticker blast on the side of the truck. But we had a good time out there. Hopefully you guys had a great 4th of July. I took a little time off and just kind of disappeared for a while because, man, we have been so busy. Like, it's a little tiring and a little much. I'll show you guys what we were working on right now. I'm sure you guys can guess it because I've been posting on my IG. If you guys don't follow me on IG, my IG is hotpost_Alex, where obviously from day to day I post more on there. But let me show you guys what we're working on. Something that has kind of taken Instagram and the internet by storm. And it has also brought out a lot of naysayers as well, which, you know, we love that. Before we get into what it is, I want you guys to drop down a comment below to tell me one thing. Because supposedly, I guess, I've been lowriding and my dad's been lowriding and all of us have been lowriding and been in the lowriding business, but we have not found that book of lowriding yet that everyone talks about. And it's funny because we've been doing this for all our lives, pretty much all my life I've been doing this, and I have not yet seen that book. I must have walked past it at the library, or, you know, I don't have it on my Audible or something like that. I don't know, but supposedly everyone's saying that there's this book of lowriding that you have to follow to be a lowrider. If you guys guessed it, I am being sarcastic because, well, recently I've been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram that I feel like, in my opinion, it meets the criteria of a lowrider. Now, I want you guys to drop a comment down below. What makes it a lowrider? And don't say OG, because if you guys gonna remember, let's be period correct and let's be correct here. Some of the first lowriders did not have wire wheels. Some of the first lowriders did not have hydraulics or air suspension. They actually were just cut springs, sandbags, cement bags, bricks, anything to drop the car lower. That brings me to, what does this book consist of? I mean, what makes it a lowrider? Is it the custom crazy pattern paint? No, because that wasn't around back when originally lowriding started either. Wire wheels. Wire wheels weren't around either. They were really more, you know, Kragers, Stockies, Supremes, that kind of style wheel is what started the whole lowrider trend. Oh, hydraulics. That didn't come till after as well. It has to be those cool, crazy custom pumps, right? No, they were using surplus aircraft stuff back in the day. Yeah. So what makes it a lowrider, right? I mean, this is a dead serious question. I know I'm joking around about this right now, but what makes it a lowrider? People say, oh, you can't have, you know, a brand new car and make it a lowrider. Well, you know, back in what, let's call it the 80s, mid 80s, when the mini trucks were around, that was a brand new truck, and they were tossing wheels on it, hydros on it, dancing beds, and that was considered a lowrider mini truck. Like early 70s, late 60s, cars were already being cut and hydraulics were being put into it. And at that time, they were doing cars of that period. 65, 66, 67, 68, you know, 58, right? 59, 60, 61, 62s. So let's just say it was a 65, and in 75 they're cutting it. That only makes that car 10 years old. So that is technically a newer car, right? Wow, this is getting really confusing. What makes this a lowrider? So from the beginning of lowriding, custom paint really wasn't around. It was really of a stock paint job with some patterns on top of it, if that was already later on down the road. And hydraulics didn't really come into play until a few years later. It was still sandbags and bricks and cut springs. So what really makes us and what makes our cars lowriders? And this is a serious question. What makes our cars lowriders? Classic car? Not really, because when they were doing Sentras and they were doing all the 720s and they were doing all the mini truck stuff, those were all considered Euros or Euro lowrider, because Lowrider magazine even had the Euro edition magazine, right? And there was mini trucks being featured in lowrider as well. Oh, there was actually at one point in the 2000s or even later 2000s, dub, what you guys would most people consider dub, or big wheel car, was actually being shown in lowrider as well. And there's actually a few of them that have won lowrider of the year. So do you guys kind of see what I'm getting at? Like, I know I'm rambling about it, but what makes the cars a lowrider? Like, truly, what makes it a lowrider? So we all say one thing and another thing, but really there is no right and wrong on what makes it a lowrider. There's a few categories that we kind of put everything into nowadays to make it a lowrider. But let's be real, there is no book of lowriding. So all this, internet, Instagram, TikTok, all these gangsters on there like, hey, no, that's not a lowrider. What is a lowrider though? Seriously. Because now, like, if you really sit down and think about it, I mean, what I'm saying kind of makes sense, right? There was new cars as a lowrider. There was really no wire wheels. There was no custom paint when lowriding first started. And I actually, if you guys know the actual date of when the first lowriding car or lowrider car started, comment down below, because I've heard a lot. And I've talked to a lot of the older gentlemen, and I've got dates from them. And I kind of have an idea, but what I've read is different than what I've heard. And there's really no like true honest date. Some nice candy paint and some nice flake, stuff like that. This is what people will consider a lowrider, right? Spokes. Spokes is what make it a lowrider, right? You're saying the guy that's on 14-inch spokes isn't a lowrider? Or the guy that's on Supremes isn't a lowrider? The guy on Krager is not a lowrider? Alright. Do you see what I'm saying now, guys? Like, there is no right and wrong of lowriding, really. Is the sucker low? Yeah. Is he driving? Yeah. Then he's probably lowriding. I know I'm gonna get a whole bunch of comments like, look at Alex, you don't know what you're saying, you're too young, and blah, 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 blah. But really, listen to what I'm saying. Ask yourself, what makes a car a lowrider? Is it because somebody said it was a lowrider? Because there's no book that says this. There's no book that teaches how to build the perfect lowrider. If there is, I skipped that in the library. To my next thing here. Again, we had posted this car up a while back on our Instagram, and it got like, I don't even know how many views, like instantly, like 50, 60, 70,000 views like in the first like hour. I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. And then I started reading the comments, and I never read, I hate reading the comments because there's so many guys in there like pedaling a bike like, oh, I would have painted it this way. Yeah, and I stay away from the comment section, but I wanted to read it. I was curious. And out of like 100 comments, 50 of them were like, man, that thing is cool, it is different, he's going outside the box. And then the other 50 are like, hey, that's not a lowrider. What is a lowrider? Right? I mean, I feel like I'm gonna keep saying that. I showed you guys custom paint, showed you guys wired wheels. Engraving makes it a lowrider. So if I engrave all this makes it a lowrider right here. Really nice engraving here. Let me show you guys. That's an air ride setup. What I just showed you guys, that's an air ride setup. And I'm gonna say, this air ride setup has a lot of detail. Kind of similar to like hydraulic setups, right? Now a lot of you guys say airbags aren't lowriding or isn't lowriding, right? But it has engraving, it has custom paint, it makes the car drop down. I mean, where is that book that says hydraulics have to be in a lowrider? Because you guys could consider traditional the Euro lowrider, and he doesn't even have any hydraulics or air suspension. Custom paint right here. Oh, this custom paint is actually sitting on a Tesla. Electric. Crazy, right? Those wire wheels I showed you guys. Wow, those are actually custom made wire wheels with floaters in the center. What makes it a lowrider? Because what you guys would classify as lowriding, this guy checks everything off the box. Now you guys just say, well, it's a new car. Well, there was new cars back in the day too. It has airbags. You know, you have to have hydraulics. Well, you guys consider traditional of the year a lowrider, not a stock car, right? So again, what makes it a lowrider? And I'm asking this seriously. Like, I know I'm joking around about this, but what makes it a lowrider? Really, think down. Stop being so narrow-minded. And what makes it a lowrider? Setup right here, even though it's air suspension, has a lot of detail in it. It has a lot of airbrushing, engraving, chroming, custom-made parts. And you even got him. Custom paint all throughout the whole car. And this is not a wrap. This is paint. Wire wheels. Custom headlights. Custom lighting throughout the car. Custom interior. Everything is updated thanks to Elon. What makes it a lowrider? A lot of you guys are just gonna drop comments down below. That is not a lowrider. Why? Why is it not a lowrider? I'm not saying it is a lowrider. I'm not saying it's not a lowrider. But what is a lowrider? Because everything that people say, there's always a story behind it that will say something different. You know, like I said, back in the days, in '65, they were cutting Impalas already. Impalas came out, what, 58? So that was technically still a brand new car. That was only 7 years old. So what makes it a lowrider? Seriously, this is a serious question, guys. I'm saying this is because there's a lot of people that hate on this car. There's a lot of people that love this car. There's a lot of people that just like and appreciate the time and effort that goes into it, which I feel like that is the biggest thing when it comes down to lowriding. Is the time, the effort, the money. You know, a guy might not have that much money, but he's doing everything he can to fix up that car to go cruising with his family. To me, that's more lowrider than a guy that's gonna just dump in $200,000-300,000. Working hard, earning your money, spending time with your family, building a custom car, you know, hands-on, cruising the boulevard, hitting the shows, taking home that first trophy that feels so good because you put all your time into it. Now, we all know those trophies don't mean anything, but is that what's lowriding about? Is it the cruising? Is it the hopping? Is it the time building and spending it with your family? Taking it to the show for the first time and displaying it out with your carpet, laying it out. Your wife is helping you wipe down the wheels. Your daughter is helping you clean out the mirrors. Is that what lowriding is? Again, there is no right and wrong to this. And I'm asking this in like all seriousness because I read all the comments on those posts that are like, it is not a lowrider. I want to read those. I normally don't read those comments, but I want to read those because I want to go and I want to say debunked because back in this time that, you know, this and that. Now, I don't know everything, and I'm not claiming to know everything, but from what I've learned and what I've been educated on and the people that I've talked to and just my experiences all around being around this pretty much my whole life, I couldn't really tell you what makes a lowrider. I feel like it's more tradition, honor, respect, family, dedication, hard work, initiative. To me, that is stuff that like is the main characteristics to have a guy that is serious or a female that is serious about lowriding. Here's this. This couple is serious about lowriding. Brand new car. I don't know what, I think these are like 80, 90K. I don't even know what these new cars go for. All updated. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not an electric fan yet. I'm not. But I don't hate them. I don't hate them at all. I actually really appreciate them because the technology is almost there. I feel like the technology could make a break. Now, I wouldn't personally buy one yet, but I think they're absolutely freaking cool. I think they're awesome. I think some of the aspects of it suck, but I still think it's cool. That doesn't mean I have to go and be like, oh, that car's stupid, I hate it. I don't really, like, man, this is pretty cool. It's different. And you gotta really, I mean, look at the levels on this guy for going and doing this, because he is getting a lot of flack for it, but he's also getting a lot of love. And you know, none of us really care. We don't care. I took this job on for the company because I knew it was a little controversial, and I knew it was gonna be, you know, like, you shouldn't do that, you know, all these naysayers. But really, what makes a lowrider? What makes your car a lowrider? Again, and I'm asking this in all seriousness, like, what is the right and wrong? I don't think there is a right and wrong. I don't think there's really an answer to this question. I think it's really what we feel, what we believe we built, right? Woo! On your knees. Baby, please. All right, Vic. What makes a lowrider? I know you're trying to work for the first time this whole day. 8 hours have gone by on your knees. But what makes it a lowrider? Or what makes your car a lowrider?
You just fucking open a can of fucking worm.
What makes your car a lowrider? Hold on, for reals.
Ask the audience.
I already asked them like 100 times.
What they said.
A lot of them that are still commenting below right now saying that I'm wrong and this and that, they're not being open-minded. Or they're not really thinking about the true history of how lowriding really started.
And how you look at it.
Well, what makes your car a lowrider? Is it because it's older?
It's me. Because with the...
You don't have patterns, right? Just single color? No,
patterns.
You pattern yourself. But you don't have patterns, right? Single color?
Single color.
Single color. So obviously that knocks out crazy paint. You don't have to have crazy paint to be a lowrider. You have wire wheels?
Yeah.
You have 13s or 14s?
13.
13s. Oh, but wait. If you have 13s and you don't have premium sportways, these guys on the internet say you're not a lowrider. Yeah, that's what they say. But remember, Kragers. What else? What else was back in the day? I'm not saying all this stuff to start a fight on YouTube, to do all that. Like, I really don't care what people think makes it a lowrider. Like, I mean, I feel like I understand what makes a lowrider, I think. But again, there's no like right and wrong. There's no lowriding book. There's no manual that's like, check the box. If you have 13, lowrider. Custom paint, lowrider. Like, let's be real, like 100% real with yourself. What modifications or what items or what makes that car a lowrider, right? That is why that is the title of this video. What is a lowrider? Because that is a serious question, man, really. Like, again, you know, we've all seen those internet gangsters, you know, they're bashing away at the keyboard and their phone, like, but sit back and think about it. Really think hard and be open-minded about it. And like, really, don't try to talk yourself out of it. Try to find the facts, and then, you know, try to find the stuff that's not facts, and you guys figure that stuff out for yourself. Again, I'm not here to get people mad and fight, but like, it's a true, honest question. Like, what is it? Why? Really, let's be honest. This whole video was to show off this beautiful Tesla right here. Yes, that is right. I said Tesla, and I'm gonna say it is Tesla. That is a lowrider style. Let me pull this plastic off of this thing. This thing. Oh, look at that. Oh, I forgot to even. I mean, it's mirrored too. Like, you checking that box? Mirrored. You know, wire wheels. Now you're gonna be like, oh, it's not a 13. It's not a wire. Like, but really, come on. Like, this thing is freaking pretty cool. Again, I'm open-minded. I'm not a narrow-minded person. Today we are getting the air ride setup all dialed in. We have got the tank and everything all assembled. It is ready to roll. Let me cover everything up here. I don't want this car to get dirty. Definitely want to keep that clean, but we have the setup pretty much halfway there. We got some of the tubing done, which you will see in this clip right here. And that clip was a few days ago, but right now what we're working on is getting all the brackets mounted in for this tank, and I don't know if you'll see them in there. The brackets that we're mounting into the front of this car, and we're getting this all mounted up. The guy's got all the fittings tightened up already. This is running dual wire 485s with our billet filter housing, our wire cover. Obviously right now you can still see the wires because we're going to be hard lighting the wires out of here. That way you don't see no wires on the compressors. You can see all the engraving. This is our 5-gallon HHT tank. That is all solid stainless steel rods, all 6061 billet here, fully engraved. 4 3/8 ports on this side, 4 3/8 ports on that side, and 2 1/4-inch ports at the very bottom of this guy. And we didn't forget about that. We actually have holes on the bottom of that plastic down there, and we're actually going to be running a drain line out as well, so that way the car can still be drained. And this is running an airlift system that, you know, when they painted it, they just kind of painted over everything, and I wasn't a fan of the way it looked. You could kind of see the paint, and it was like over the letters, kind of bubbly. So we took that off, and we did all aluminum, just a little cover, you know, kind of give a little bling in there. We're gonna be coming in, cleaning all this up. There's a little bit of overspray here still, but we were in the mock-up stages where this stuff is loose but kind of tight. It's hand tight, and I'm doing all my tubing here. I only did the tubings out from the compressors into the tank as of right now because that's what's going to be stationary. We need to actually get this whole thing inside of this, well, I was gonna say engine compartment, but front trunk. That's such a hard word to get used to saying, but in there to get everything lined up. Make sure we have enough clearances to run all of our hard lines and bulkheads here. So there's still a lot of work that has to be done, and I'm very excited to get this car going. The owners of the car have been very patient. They've actually gone a lot further than they originally said for us, and I'm very glad because obviously I believe it's paying off. This thing is beautiful, it's different, it's standing out, and there's a lot of time and effort into it. So here we are in the first test fit. We got the hood to close. We are a little bit closer than I would like, so we're going to try to make some adjustments right now to make sure that this doesn't hit the hood while it's driving and during any vibration, which it doesn't really vibrate very much, but just to make sure. So right now I'm in the office, and the guys are still working on the Tesla. They're also working on the 58 frame and a whole bunch of just production items that we got going right now. But this video wasn't to stir up a whole bunch of stuff, but it was really just to get you guys to dig deep down inside and help me. What is a lowrider, right? And again, I've said that like a million times in this video, but seriously, what classifies us in our genre of vehicles as a lowrider? I mean, because lowriding has really converted from what it was originally to what it is now. So in the end, like, are we considering OG from way back when it first started lowriding, or is it lowriding now, or has it just converted and we're all okay with it? But I just want to toss this video out there to really get you guys to think about it, and not to, you know, not to sit here and just start a whole bunch of wars in the comments and stuff like that, but really just to like sit back and be like, dang, yeah, I mean, what makes it a lowrider, right? So with that being said, I am going to wrap up this video right here. I got a ton of emails I got to catch up on. We got a whole bunch of production stuff we got to catch up on, and I am really far behind because we're going to be leaving to the San Francisco show in a few days here. So I'm trying to get caught up from all the stuff in the back before we take off, because when we come back and then things are just going to be busy. So thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you guys don't already subscribe, make sure you guys do that. Drop a comment down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I will actually read these comments this time because normally I don't read them, but I will go ahead and read them. So go ahead and let's hear what you guys got to say. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you guys in the next one.